So I had an idea today. It's a cloudy day, it's been raining, which is actually kind of good news. This rain, with the warmer temperatures, the grass is going to explode by next week, which means people are going to start pulling out their lawnmowers. So that means I might get some more business, because it's been kind of drying up. But I had this thought that, well, I got this weld to do here. It's just a small weld. I'm doing it for free. She already paid me for this lawnmower, but I caught this one later after she's already paid me. This lady, she relies on someone to pick her stuff up for her. So she pays to get the payment out of the way, and then later somebody will come pick it up. But I thought I'd go ahead and fix this. But I got the generator running, so I can fix it with the welder. I got those two Champion 2500 watt inverter generators that run on propane also, so it's a dual fuel. Well, I have a Paralink, so both generators can run into one Paralink. And that gives me, instead of 30 amps from one, it gives me, no, excuse me, instead of 15 amps from one, it gives me 30 amps from both of them. So I can run this welder. But on cloudy days, I usually don't fill the tank, the water tank, because I don't have enough sun to run the well. But I figured since I'm already running the generators, I just will go ahead and fill the well. So I'll do the welding first, or run the well. So I'll do the welding first, and then I can fill the tank. So figured you could join along for a bit. This is a pretty deep gouge, and I'm going to try to weld it without doing any, fancy stuff like putting another rod in there or something to fill the gap. See if I can just fill it with welding material. See how good I can weld. Actually, I don't even know if this is going to work. I've tried it one time before, but having this long stitching cord running from down there all up here, I don't know if I'm going to get enough volts. I might get a voltage drop trying to send that much electric through that wire, so we'll see. Might help if I put my helmet on. That was kind of bright. Nope, that's too hot. I melted it. I may not be able to do this without putting some sort of filler in it. That kind of worked. Wish I'd had the amperage lower before I made that big hole. So I'm going to try to fill that in. Okay, so I think I got it. I filled it all in. It doesn't look very good, but I don't care. I'm doing it for free. I'm trying to preserve this lawnmower as long as I can for this lady. So I'll show you what I mean. Before, when you stood on the edge of this, it would just flex down because there was no support down there. But now it should hold me. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, it's not flexing now. What is interesting about running those generators down there instead of right here when I'm welding, used to I'd put the generators right next to me. Well, when you did that, you would get an audio cue that would tell you, hey, the generator's ramping up on speed, that means I'm welding. Well, you don't get that now. It's down there and you really don't hear the influx of RPMs. All you get is that visual cue that it's sparkling. So it's just a different response to it. But the thing is shooters have the same problem. They can be really fast on the draw with an audio beep. You know, they train to that. But when they have to take a visual cue and a target slams around, they actually drop in time because they're waiting for the beep and there's no beep. Their brain is subconsciously waiting for a beep and there's no beep. So they slow down. So you train one way and then you practice one way and then have to actually work another way. It messes you up. So I think that's the same thing you know, it's happening to me with this welder. I don't have that ramp in RPMs from the generators when I start welding, so I don't see the strike going on. Or I don't realize the strike is going on. So it took me a little bit longer to get used to looking for the visual cue. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there was a big difference to me. I don't know if you can hear the tone difference when I turn the generator on, but it takes a lot of power to start that weld pump up. And then it comes back down. It's called peak wattage. So when on startup you have peak. I was just waiting for it to fill. There's not much to fill. So, but this is kind of, I don't know, I feel like I have to plan out my day as much as possible. You know, okay, we got the generators running. And the thing is I've learned a lot about the generators this year. I mean, I've been running generators for 9 years now. And before I started living off-grid, and we were traveling, I was running those generators every day, 6 hours a day. And I didn't know all the things back then, and well, until this year. But the running it on eco on, which means running it on lower RPMs, is actually pretty harmful on it when running in cold temperatures. You really need to get these generators up to temperature. So like if I were to just turn it on, fill the water up, takes all of 5 minutes, and then shut them off, the generator didn't have time to warm up and boil all that water out of the oil and the gas, because there's a little bit of gas that gets past the rings and it settles into that oil. It's one of the reasons why cars that don't have that don't drive highway miles are usually in a lot worse shape, is because that oil is never really boiled off, and so you really got to change the oil pretty frequently on those. So like on the ASUP, I've been changing that oil every 25 hours. But what I'm going to do with these generators is I'm going to change the oil every season, because I don't run those near as much, although this year I've been trying to run it more, running it to pressure wash the lawnmowers and run the well, trying to get some exercise out of them without wearing them out. I also used 5W40 with zinc in those, because that propane runs so hot. I want to make sure that I'm not overheating them, because that older generator, there's 2 of them. That older one I've already wore down pretty good running propane on that well. So I don't want to, you know, destroy them. I want those to last hopefully for the rest of my life. I don't run them that often. So, but the thing is I'm trying to force myself to run them now, because as little as I run them can be harmful on them also. You don't want the piston to stick or anything like that. Fortunately, running it on propane, even though it runs really hot, runs a lot cleaner. So I don't have to worry about gas getting down into the oil. I only have to worry about water getting down into the oil. So water's easier to burn, or, you know, isn't quite as corrosive as gasoline is. Let's see if I can get this thing to stand up without falling over. Let's try that. See, those things are running full RPMs right now with no load. So now this is a good cool down time for them. You know, it gives it a minute or two to cool down with that fan blowing really hard in them without a load in it. So running that 10W40 gives it extra coating in the hot temperatures, and then it also that zinc protects the cam lobes. That zinc adds metal to the cam, so instead of wearing off the cam, it wears off the zinc. And then we let it cool down, just, you know, for this minute to walk down here. Turn off the propane. Okay, so you'll see this orange and black wire that runs over to here to this Paralink. So it's actually red, but it turned orange from the sun. So then we have a red and black one, and this runs to the Paralink. So it runs straight to the Paralink. Both of them do. So instead of plugging your devices into the front of the generator, you plug it over here. So here we have the, this is the welder, and this is the well. And as long as I don't, you know, there might be enough power to run everything at once, but I don't want to push the generators that hard anymore. That's the older one over there. It's older by like a year and a half. And I bought this one because it was on sale, and I thought, well, you know, it'd be nice to have a spare. And I just kept it in the box for the longest time. Then I realized, hey, I could put it to use with this Paralink. So now I get all this power out of it. And a lot of people think I'm stupid for doing it. Well, why don't you get, you know, a 4,000 watt generator? Well, I would. I could, I guess. But that means I have one generator. But the reason I bought the second one was for a backup, in case my primary fell apart. Well, then when I realized I could use the Paralink for an extra 60 bucks, it didn't make sense to go out and spend $1,000 on a 4,000 watt generator. Well, just use the two I got for an additional 60 bucks with the Paralink. And then I tied it into one propane tank with that connector, and so it can just sit there. And I think I'm just going to leave them there for the most part, right there. Put a tarp over it like I do everything else. It's not really the rain that hurts generator or equipment, it's the sun. So keep it covered up with the tarp. I can leave it out here, and I can run it just about any time without having a huge setup. And that's one of the reasons I wasn't running it all the time, was because it just takes so much time to set it up. But if they just sit there, I'll run them more frequently. It's just a lot easier. Take that tarp off and let them. Now I'll let it cool off for a bit so that tarp doesn't melt, and then I'll cover it back up. I don't think it's going to rain until this evening. So, but that rain, we needed that. Warm temperatures in the rain. Now we'll start getting some customers in here. So I'm going to jump off here. If you'll click this up next box to take the video over to my other channel, I'd really appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you to plan ahead so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.